Thanks for joining us on Emerald Downs Weekly, another edition as we review, preview, and have some fun here above the paddock at Emerald Downs. Joe with you along with Gary Doherty and Phil Ziegler. Fellas, we are back and another nice weekend of racing behind us and another in front of us, and a little bit more than a weekend coming up in the next few days.
Yeah, I mean, we have our normal racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then in the middle of the week is our busiest and biggest and loudest day of the year. The 3rd of July Fireworks Spectacular. It's a tradition here at Emerald Downs. There's a lot of choices on the 4th, but there's really only one on the 3rd around here, and that's right here at the track. And an incredible show. And once again this year, Gary, it's going to be the biggest and loudest show in track history.
I've heard that, starting about after the races, around 10:30. Emerald Downs opens at 9:45 a.m., so come early, get a place to sit in the grass area. We'll have movies on the big screen throughout the day, so it should be a fun day and night here at Emerald Downs.
Yeah, so let's go through the schedule. We start at movies on the big screen. Now, doors open, gates open.
9:45 a.m.
And there's always people lined up to get their spots. And then we have movies on the big screen starting at 11. We're going to have 3 different movies. Racing at 5, and then the fireworks show, usually we wait until the skies get dark. We say 10 o'clock. It's usually 5 or 10 after. But usually by 10 after 10, we're going and we're done about 10:30.
And the retros.
And the music by the retros,
the
right?
retros playing out.
Retros are fantastic.
In the park before the fireworks. Then they'll play a good show after the fireworks. So as people leave, you can hang out in the park and pick up garbage and listen to the retros.
That's right. We always stay late and clean up. And it is for folks that don't stay and look at what happens afterwards, it is by far the messiest day of the year with all the food and folks out here all day long and in the evening. And we're always out there picking up trash late at night.
You started that tradition your first year here.
I had nothing else to do. You can't get out of the lot. It's traffic, right?
It's impossible to leave.
Bag after bag after bag, Phil.
Takes an hour to get out of here, but we want you to get in here on July 3rd. You just heard the schedule, and it's just a fantastic show. It's right in front of the grandstand, and it doesn't go, half a mile up in the air either. It blows right in front of you, if that's the word we want to talk about.
You know what's incredible is that a lot of people, we usually have 13,000 people here, and there's probably another 10, 15,000 people around the area. I just talked to somebody today. They're having a big party down the road, and I'm like, thanks a lot. We make no money from that, but you have to be here to see the entire show, because we're doing even more of those, the ones that go off right in front of the tote board, and they don't go that high, and if you're not right here, you don't see them. And you get a nice up-close view. So if you want to see the entire show, this is the only place and best place to be right here at the track.
Yeah, it is one busy day for our customer service staff when reservations begin for the fireworks show, and all the box holders want to have their box. Just a fantastic tradition here at Emerald Downs. The 3rd of July. And again, horse racing as well, Wednesday, July 3rd, first race at 5 p.m. So
I have to ask you this, because people, the first question they always ask me is, what about the horses? Because we have 900 horses here, and there's a fireworks show going on.
Right.
Yeah, well, it is, about a quarter mile plus, half mile, even more to some of the barns, and the staff stays around and they stay with the horses. You're going to get a few horses that are a little bit flighty and might get bothered, but they take care of them. They're right there to attend to them.
And some trainers will actually take them back to the farm maybe overnight if they think it's going to be too stressful. But also, our horses are in a spot here where there's trains going by all the time. There's planes going by all the time with the airport next door. So they're kind of used to, and there's lots of fireworks around the neighborhood too, around the 4th. So
train tracks on both sides.
Yes.
Helicopters and the traffic helicopters going over all the time. So this is a noisy place. They get used to that. So we're doing it.
Also that night we'll have some food trucks out in the park, and face painters will come out. So bring the kids early, get their face painted, and enjoy the whole day.
And if you go to emeralddowns.com and go to the admission page, you'll see at the bottom of that page all the rules of what you can and cannot bring with you, because you can bring a cooler and some food. You can't bring alcohol, and you can bring, I believe, water if it's all sealed and stuff like that. So we do have different rules on what you can bring into the track. And a lot of people come here 8:45 in the morning. They line up. They come in at 9:45, and they are here all day.
It's a long day for some people.
And they have a great time. They camp out. They watch the races at night. And there's nothing like it. 3rd of July at Emerald Downs.
It's a great holiday eve tradition here and a great show to top it all off. It'll happen again this coming Wednesday, July 3rd. Yeah, we are almost at July. And the fireworks spectacular signals the real start of summer. It's in fact, it's not too summery right now at shoot time, but looking forward to a 3-day weekend of racing here at Emerald Downs as well. Before we do that, let's take a look back a little bit to last week and some great racing on the track. We had some price horses come in, but we also had the food trucks here this past weekend. Both
I made a homemade video, Phil, of the food trucks out in the park on Sunday.
You put this on Instagram, right?
I did.
Downs, the 2019 Food Truck Festival. Over a dozen trucks here. The Camena Grill.
I had some of that stuff. That's
again
good.
for another year.
They win, right?
Best in show.
The best in show.
People's choice.
Yeah.
Wings and things is here. Catfish, alligator, you name it.
Try some
They got
alligator?
even frog legs.
They have frog legs?
Flaming Flynn's mobile.
Just listen to
wood
Gary. He'll tell
fire
you.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Yes, this is a
Fantastic
good wrap-up
pizza
here.
Another pizza truck here on the Food Truck Festival here at Emerald Downs, Delfino's.
Thanks for the
Chicago
pizza
style
Saturday,
pizza.
Phil.
I did
We
buy
got
a
some
pizza.
Thai food from Thai You
Hold on.
Up.
The
Waffles.
backside
How
now.
about
Look at
some
these
tough
people all
bubble
looking at you like
waffles?
this crazy
Fantastic.
guy walking around talking to himself.
Alaskan dumplings here. Come on out to Emerald Downs and get some food. This is a fantastic showing of trucks here. Hot Revolution donuts here in the backdrop.
You like those
Gemini
donuts,
fish
Phil?
too. Some
They are
excellent
very good
fish.
donuts.
The Fork and Fin in the back, having a good day
Alaskan
of selling
seafood.
food. And finally, a little bit of fried chicken back here, right here in the park at Emerald Downs.
Good job, Gary.
Yeah, that was a homemade video. Food
Right.
Truck Festival, Saturday and Sunday, gets a lot of attention. And, it's just a great enhancement to a weekend at Emerald Downs, which we did last weekend. Hey, let's take a look at some racing last week. Let's go to Friday, a Fab Friday. We'll do it again this Friday at 6:30. And big finish in the middle of the track by West Coast Indy to take race number 2 last Friday.
Right.
Look at this. West Coast Indy. Frank Lucarelli, has he won any photos this year? He won that one. And Franklin Sabalos ended the week pretty well with another stake win. We'll have more on that. Let's go to the feature race on a Fab Friday night. And this was a sprint for fillies and mares. Let's hear track announcer Tom Harris call the finish.
Digs in and kicks clear by 2. On the outside, Bo Rocks trying to cut into the margin, getting Joellen back third. Deep stretch they come. A filly can dream, chased by Bo Rocks. These two right down to the finish. A filly can dream. Bo Rocks coming on. Bo Rocks in the final jump.
Now, there was a horse that really wanted to win. How about Bo Rocks laying it down late? And Blaine Wright, the trainer, Javier Matias, of course, aboard. That was a real strong finish by Bo Rocks, who was the favorite in the race and got up for a Fab Friday night victory. Flattercat took the last race to become the second horse to win 3 races at Emerald Downs this year. And nice win there. We're going to take a timeout, come back. We're just getting started here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Stay tuned.
How much of that food did you sample, Gary? Be honest.
Most of the trucks. It was,
Most of the trucks.
taking one for the team, making sure seeing the best, so they vote on the best food truck.
Those little donuts were great.
Emerald Downs Weekly here on NBC Sports Northwest. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler. And we're going to take a look at some more great action from last week here at Emerald Downs. But, of course, a Fab Friday night this Friday, Gary.
Yes.
And Saturday post time 5 p.m. But the schedule?
Yep, we go at 6:30 Friday night. The Jealous Dogs, they're a Pretenders tribute band out here for the first time between the races. That should be fun. That'd be Friday night, and we have Bud and Bud Light specials for $3. Saturday, first race goes at 5. Northwest Island Fest for the first time, Phil. We're going to have some Hawaiian music, some dancers, some food trucks, some vendors in the park, so that should be a lot of fun this Saturday night.
And dollar night, too.
Right.
Dollar specials.
Oh.
Corn dogs, fountain drinks,
Popcorn.
ice cream sandwiches, popcorn, and something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember
Chips.
that.
Potato chips.
Potato chips.
This Saturday, $1 night, first race at 5 p.m. at Emerald Downs. That's our Saturday post time now, 5 p.m. for the rest of the season. Sunday at 2 o'clock, feature race of the week. The Budweiser Stakes on Sunday. We'll get to that. But let's go back to last Saturday. Some great action here at Emerald Downs. We'll start with the second race. And coming down the stretch here, Informed Lady is going to pull away from the rest. And this was a kind of a unique field. She was the only horse in the race that had had a start. The rest were all 2-year-old filly first-time starters. And Eddie Martinez, the rider there, had a fantastic week. He was named Jockey of the Week with 6 wins. Informed Lady broke her maiden in her second career start.
And that was the Jim Clark Memorial Purse, Gary just pointed out. That was a nice tribute to our former Director of Maintenance and Facilities here.
Yeah, his family out and friends as well. Race number 2 on Saturday. Let's go on to the fourth race, and this could be a little bit of a rising star in the 3-year-old division. We have a star in Baja Sur. This is Macaw Lane, trained by Bonnie Jenny. Eddie Martinez aboard here as well, and he ran a big race last time out. He was caught by Sky Confidential, who's in this weekend. But that horse ran fast. He dominated the pace and just pulled away like a good horse. So Macaw Lane could be an up-and-coming 3-year-old.
That's Attaboy Roy. Horse.
He won by 5.5 lengths. And the feature race on Saturday, again 5 p.m. post time. Here's a filly that really did well on the grass and on wet tracks elsewhere, especially Turf Paradise. But she's come up to Emerald Downs and kind of run a little bit flat, showing speed but not hanging around, but not so on Saturday here at the track.
Malish's Buttercup continues to hold them at bay. On the outside, Candarosa. Grandstand side of Fleet Hope launching a late say. Goldie's Darlings at the rail. 70 yards for home. Ailish's Buttercup digs in. Goldie's Darlings. Ailish's Buttercup all the way.
You know, Gary Wales aboard, you can see him there. He is pulling away in the jockey standings as leading rider. And, yeah, he is happy. The reason being, that's the first time he ever got on that horse, be it mornings or races. And when you do that and you win on a 6-1 horse that had kind of 2 sour races previously, it's a proud moment. And Gary's he's had some great rides on longer-priced horses lately, especially last week.
And he's won a race at least, I think, the last 15 or 16 straight days of racing. He's had at least 1 win, so he's on quite a roll.
He is riding well. Gary Wales was aboard Alicia's Buttercup. Let's go to Sunday here at Emerald Downs. Last Sunday, that is. And the first race we'll look at will be the third. This was a tight finish among fillies and mares. And here we come to the wire. Rosso's Gatto is going to win this one. The 3-horse is going to hold on right there. That was a tight finish. That was her 3rd win at the meeting, and she was 6-1. We had several price horses on Sunday at the track. If you were, that's Eddie Martinez aboard again. So Rosso's Gatto at 6-1. On to the 4th race, and this was a 2-year-old maiden special weight race. So these could be some horses we see in stakes moving forward. And Windy Point just went out and took this race here. Windy Point by a couple lengths. You got a comment on that one?
No, I see blinkers on. That's always good.
Windy Point career debut.
Juan Gutierrez up.
Yeah, a good win for that first-time starter by Coast Guard, by the way. Steve Bullock horse ran second, another filly by Coast Guard. And on to the 5th race. Portland Meadows has had quite an effect in Emerald Downs this year, more so than other years. And Call a Cab was what? She was 13-1, and she won by 7 lengths off a layoff from the Portland meeting. And we've just seen a lot of big pays from Portland this year. Now there's an instance of Gary Wales again probably had never been on that horse. I know he hadn't ridden her. She'd been off since Portland. He brings a 13-1 horse in.
I ran through, some people were passing by and they said, we just bet on Gary Wales every race. They were very happy after that race at 13-1.
Mm-hmm. You don't usually see the jockey, who's the leading jockey at a racetrack, go off at double-digit odds too often.
Not often.
Yep.
Okay, let's go on to a maiden race here. And Jennifer Whitaker only had one mount on Sunday, and there was a memorial race for her father, Bob, who never missed any of her rides. Bob Whitaker left us earlier this year. Great supporter of his daughter. And Jennifer won on her only mount. Howard Belvoir trainee Perfect Blossom, who had been pretty much knocking on the door. That filly had run some good races in maiden company, hadn't won.
And that was Jennifer's birthday, I believe.
Jennifer's birthday as well.
Yeah,
That's
she
right.
won on her birthday.
Her only mount of the day. Nice job, Jennifer. The only woman, of course, to win the Long Acres Mile. The feature race of the week was also on Sunday. This is the Washington State Legislators Stakes. And let's take a look at the race.
And runners away. In the Washington State Legislators, good start for Bellamia at the inside and Best of Me, and they run together early. And Best of Me takes him inside the final furlong. Bellamia chasing. Don't Kiss and Tell looking for an upset on the outside. 70 yards to the wire. Best of Me holding on gamely. Best of Me wins the Washington State Legislators.
Yes, she did. Best of Me, a filly by Super Saver, and trainer Blaine Wright gets another stake win, as does jockey Franklin Sabalos. And I'm a Happy Cat who had won the Hastings over Best of Me, and several of those didn't get the start that she did in the Hastings at all. In fact,
nope. Exact opposite, Joe.
Yeah, she was a couple lengths behind right away instead of 3 lengths in front. But Best of Me is a really fine filly. A couple wins at Santa Anita last year.
Yeah, it's interesting because 7 of those horses from the Hastings were back. And Rob Rao, who does our morning line, I give him credit because Best of Me finished 5th in that race, but had a lot of trouble, and yet he made her the morning line favorite and went off, I believe, second choice at 2-1 and wound up winning and looking much the best. As Best of Me.
She did go off the favorite in that race.
Was
Best
she?
of Me, yeah. She was bet down considerably at the end. I think she paid $660 to win. And Blaine's other filly in there, Bellamia, was second. Okay, so congratulations, Todd and Sean Hansen, the owners, and Franklin Sabalos up. The 10th and final was the Bob Whitaker Memorial Race, honoring Jennifer's father. He was just a fantastic supporter. All-Star Alley, she is one sharp filly. She's won 3 in a row now, and she takes the Bob Whitaker race. Quite a week for Eddie Martinez. We saw a lot of him coming into the winner's circle this past week, but there's a lot of friends and family, Jennifer's sisters, her mother, and just a lot of friends of the family. So honoring Bob Whitaker, who spent a lot of afternoons supporting his daughter, and Jennifer happy to win on her birthday and her only mount of the day, Perfect Blossom. Okay, there's a recap of last week. We had a lot to look forward to this coming week. Fireworks Spectacular on July 3rd, but more this weekend, and we'll come with that. We'll bring it to you here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Yeah.
Get your hair cut, Joe.
My golf swing, I was losing some club speed.
I think you went in.
I had to go lower.
Did you bring a picture of Gary and say I want to look like that?
Joe,
I wasn't really thinking of that.
Are you going in the military, Joe?
Wes Petrie and I joined the Army, by the way.
Oh, no.
There you go.
Yeah, but they put us in the reserves right away.
That's good for the country.
Deep reserves.
That's very good for the country.
Emerald Downs Weekly, every Thursday evening at 11 p.m. and then again on Friday morning at 9 a.m. And you can catch us on YouTube as well. I don't know how our selections did last week. I don't think mine won because I would remember. You know how that works.
Mine didn't run very well either.
Well, we're going to try again on that. But first of all, let's look at some standings at Emerald Downs. We've had 10 weekends of racing. And the first set of standings to come up will be their jockey standings. Look at Gary Wales. He's almost doubled the next guys in line. Kevin Orozco, Eddie Martinez, first year up here, is going pretty well. Javier Matias, Juan Gutierrez, after staying out last year, Juan is back. And Franklin Ceballos, let's see, his winning percentage is strong, 19%, and you're going to see some more good work from him on a graphic coming up in a bit. But Gary Wales, again, bringing in long shots and favorites. Wow, his second season here is going like a dream right now.
Franklin runs from you, by the way.
Yeah.
You notice that now? When he won the stakes race, he looked at you, smiled, and he goes, "No!"
But yeah, he is smiling. I'll give him that.
He smiles. He's in
not
on the
running
joke.
with fear, but he doesn't. His English command isn't what he thinks it should be, apparently. But he's a really good kid, and he's having a great first year.
He was laughing, and he was having such a good time. He just looked at you, and he says, "No."
He won the stake this past weekend, of course, on Best of Me. Let's take a look at the trainer standings for 2019 so far. Frank Lucarelli, is he still on a record pace? Yeah, he probably is. He's winning at 26%. Got off to that fantastic start. His buddy Blaine Wright sneaking up on him there, Gary.
Yeah, I think Frank's got one win over the last couple of weeks and a plethora of seconds. So maybe Blaine can make this a race after all. Phil, who'd you pick when the season started to be the leading trainer?
Frank.
You went Frank?
Frank, yeah.
I think I went Frank. And Joe's trainer, I don't know who's even on the board.
There she is,
Ooh,
Chris Stensley.
Oh, okay.
Or did I pick Steve Bullock?
No, I think you picked Stensley.
I picked Stensley to win 10 maiden races, and she's has 6 so far. I'm not too far off on that pace. So Frank Lucarelli is just having an outstanding season. Blaine is doing well with wins, and especially stakes wins. And our top owners at Emerald Downs this year, it's a battle between John Parker and Chad Christensen. Just a real big battle. Chad with a little better winning percentage. And John really supporting the game again, as he always does.
John Parker. Yeah. Everybody, if you're here at Emerald Downs, when John is here, you're going to invariably hear people yelling, "John Parker!" And him yelling back and sending burgers to everybody.
Yes,
he's so much fun. And regained the lead in the owner's standings and claiming, I think he claimed 3 last weekend. So
if you have a gray horse and it's worth $5,000, run it for $10,000 because John might not claim it then, and well, that's a whole different category. But John loves gray horses. Let's put it that way.
He does, and he is going to do everything he can to try to defend his title.
Oh, it should be fun. I mean, Chad's got lots of horses in the Lucarelli barn. Mm-hmm. He brings horses from California, so this race is going to be fun all the way to the very end.
This is going to be a real battle for top owner at Emerald Downs this year. Stake standings so far. Well, you've heard us mention Blaine Wright's name so many times, but let's look at the jockeys first there. Franklin Ceballos, the youngster, his first season at Emerald Downs, he's won 3 stakes in 5 mounts, 2 on Baja Sur, and 1, of course, on Best of Me this past weekend. That is, winning stakes is huge. A $50,000 purse is like winning 3 or 4 races, a regular race. So Franklin has some great mounts. He got in Blaine Wright's barn. He's picked up a couple of really live mounts. And then Juan Hernandez has come up 3 different weekends to ride a Blaine Wright stake horse, and he has won 2, Mucho Amor, and let's see, who would the other one be? Mucho Amor. Well,
Blaine Wright horse.
Yeah, it's a Blaine Wright horse. Lorenzo Lopez won on A Little Less Talk, also has a second on her. Gary Wales won on I'm a Happy Cat for Dan Markle. There's our winners.
Was he on Any Port in a Storm?
Yes, very good. Any Port in a Storm and Mucho Amor.
Who's racing this weekend?
Racing this weekend, yes.
Big favorite.
And Juan, I assume, will be back again.
And trainer stake standings. Blaine Wright is supporting the program, fellas. Look at that. 14 starters in 7 stakes, 5 wins, 3 seconds, 2/3. Just a tremendous feat.
Well, we've had 7 races, so he's won 5 of 7. It's almost deceiving. You think the win percentage is 35%, but that's only because he's had multiple entries. Right. His real percentage is 5 out of 7.
He's the Mark Cassie of the West Coast, Joe.
He is, and the state record is 14 stakes wins at one meet. Bud Klokstad set that at Long Acres in '92. Our record, Doris Harwood, has 12 stakes wins in a meeting twice. Blaine Wright could threaten both of those this year. We're going to take a timeout, come back on Emerald Downs Weekly. More stats.
Yeah, those stats are a little deceiving, right? Because if he has 2 horses in every
Yeah.
race, win them all, it's 50%.
Well, yeah, and it's money for the owners when they run
Yeah.
second as
He's
well.
winning.
He's 14 starters is pretty awesome.
I know.
Here at Emerald Downs, you're watching Emerald Downs Weekly. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler, our crew. And
Joe, one of
we
these
have more
years,
crew too,
I want to get a
downstairs.
couple phone books, and so I can be the tallest guy on the set.
Have you ever been the tallest?
Nope.
Okay. Well, that might do
My
it.
luck, I just
That
fall
might
over.
do it. Okay. Hey, well, we're going to talk about the Budweiser Stakes. That has always been an important prep for the Long Acres Mile. The Mile, August 11th this year, Championship Sunday. Phil, we've got a great lineup for that day. It's really going to be a special day.
Yeah, putting those 4 races, the 2 3-year-old races and the 2 older horse races on the same day. And it also is the first leg of our bonus program with Hastings. So all the 4 winners that day will have a chance to go to Hastings and win a $25,000 bonus on top of the purses that they're earning that day. And we've seen this trend in the country where tracks are taking big races and putting them on the same day. And it makes it easier for trainers to bring in horses and move around the country with them sometimes. So we're hopeful to get some maybe California participation with all 4 of those races being together.
Yeah, that worked on closing day last year. Let's, Any Port in a Storm is going to be a strong favorite on Sunday in the Budweiser. His Emerald Downs debut was spectacular here in the Governors back on June 2nd. Wow, this son is City Zip, owned by Peter Redekop, trained by Blaine Wright, ridden by Juan Hernandez. Just a tremendous race, 107-2 for Any Port in a Storm. And Blaine outlined his schedule. That was there, Blaine in his Seahawk jersey that particular day. That was Norb's day out in the park, the Fan Fest. That horse is very fast, and Blaine is looking at this race, the Budweiser, and then he's going to skip the Mount Rainier to mile 16th, then he's going to go right to the August 11th mile. He hasn't won the mile yet, Blaine Wright. Either is Frank Lucarelli, and both those guys would love, Washingtonians would love to put that feather in their cap. Frank actually was born in New York. Did you know that, Gary? You probably, if you thought deeply on it.
The name Lucarelli, I might, maybe.
He grew up here. Okay, so there's another newcomer in town. His name is El Huerfano, and he is a 7-year-old by Tanner's My Man, a Calbred. He is hot stuff at Santa Anita of late. Here's a win recently, just a few weeks ago, and he was running for Jack Fabulich and Paul Heist, the Where We At. He won 2 in a row down there. He was claimed out of that race. And he's now in the barn of Vladimir Serin, but owners have sent him up here for our Budweiser Stakes. There's a look at El Huerfano, 7-year-old, extremely sharp. He's made $500,000, and that is a great addition to our stake schedule right there.
Absolutely.
You know, he's those 2 wins he's had in a row have both been at a mile on the dirt.
On the lead, Joe, or
just he's a stalker. He lays close. Yeah, I don't think he's been on wire to wire type, but
he dug in good in that last replay. He put his nose down and says, "You're not passing me."
And
I like horses like that.
Sip and Fire is going to be in that race.
Beat a horse called Darth Vader in that race. Sip and Fire is looking
Your
forward
horse?
to that race as well.
Yeah.
Other nominees include Grinder Sparks Glow and Oh Marvelous Me, who placed in the Governors. So El Huerfano's the new guy in town, and I'm sure they're thinking Long Acres Mile with him. I would think. Okay, so it's the Budweiser, a very important prep for the August 11th Long Acres Mile. Also this weekend, way out there in the east, over that way, is the Queen's Plate, and it's the 160th running of the Queen's Plate, older than the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont.
Right.
You have some info on that.
Longest continuous stakes race run in North America, as Joe said, goes back to the 1800s. And boy, the fillies have won the last 2. Wonder Godot last year and Holy Helena 2 years ago. And Joe, 3 of the last 5 years the fillies won the race?
5. And Don Lupol, the Woodbine Paddock television commentator and handicapper. She's picked the last 5 winners of the
Wow.
Queen's Plate on the Win Play show. She'll be on again Saturday.
And
5 in a row.
And this
up
is
early.
in Canada. This is their
Oh.
Kentucky Derby and then some, right?
It's the
And-
first leg of their Triple Crown in Canada.
And
Correct.
our buddy Robert Geller gets
Yep.
the call. I know when he went up there, it was one of the first things he said, what a thrill it would be to call the Queen's Plate.
Here's,
Go ahead.
I don't know if Gary even knew this one. It was called the King's Plate from 1901 to 1952.
Well, that would make
Because,
sense.
yeah,
'Cause it was
I never knew that
king.
until this week.
Ah.
But then Queen
it-
Elizabeth
Right.
was crowned
Right.
in 1953, so it's been the Queen's Plate ever since 1953. She's been reigning that long, 66 years.
Yes, I guess
When
that
it was
makes
called a
sense.
King's Plate, they gave money from Canadian money and also 5,000 guineas that the king put into the purse money.
Is that a lot?
I-
It
I
probably
don't know.
was.
How
It
much
probably
is
was
that?
then.
This is back in in the 1930s and 40s. Yeah, that was part of the purse was 5,000 guineas coming across the pond from England.
Son of Briardic won the Queen's Plate back in the 70s, and he was one of this state's all-time top sires. Okay, so we have more to come here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Joe versus Gary, stat versus stat coming up. We'll be right back.
We haven't seen your picture on anything yet, Gary.
Ooh, yeah.
Picture.
Looking
No, that's
forward
Cool.
to
Stay
that.
tuned for that.
Here's our pick of the week. Emerald Downs Weekly's pick of the week, and that goes back to May 17th, 1996. Bill, you can see construction was still going on. We weren't going to open for another month.
Yeah, and the reason we're showing this is because this past week, on June 20th, was the 23rd anniversary of the opening of Emerald Downs.
Yeah, that is the first horse on the track. You were here for this, Gary.
I did get up early and drive on down 167. I was here. That's Gary Bays, who's in the Hall of Fame, jockey on I believe a Ron Crockett horse.
That's right. By the name of One Last Night, a son of Briard, or a son of Knight's Choice.
Nice choice.
One Last Night was the first horse on the track, and Jimmy Worth on the pony there. Long-time pony guy here in the state, outstanding horseman. But Gary Bays, the state's all-time winningest jockey, got the honor of being the first rider on the track aboard One Last Night. That's our pick of the week. Okay, stat versus stat. Gary, take it away.
I was doing some research over my days off, which isn't too often during the race season, and I realized a jockey by the name of Akifumi
Cato.
Kato,
You lose.
Akifumi Kato, has won a race, Phil, in 48 straight years of racing. His first win was in 1972. He's won at least one race in 48 consecutive years, which may be a North American record. He's now 67. He won 2 races at Turf Paradise this year. Also won races here at Emerald Downs, as you saw the video. He won 6. Won 2 races in one of Longacre's last seasons in 1990. Couple of Playfair riding titles in Spokane, and he won the Playfair Mile 4 times. Over 2,000 wins for Akifumi Kato.
48 straight years in the
48,
Northwest.
huh?
Or, I mean, 48 straight years, yeah. And
That's unbelievable.
he's won here. He spends the winters down in Phoenix. He's also a bloodstock guy. That's pretty
That's right.
strong, 48 straight years
Cato.
winning a race.
Joe?
Say his name again?
Kato.
There you go.
Huh?
Okay, that is pretty good. But this is getting close to the anniversary of one of the great feats, oddity feats, accomplishments
Oh, I know
in
where you're
racing
going.
history. Yeah. We were talking about June 20th, 1996. Well, June 27th, 1996, our second Thursday, that is Jazzin' with Wendy for the Susan K. Stables of Victor the Predictor Cazzetti. And yeah, she won on June 27th, 1999 as well. Jazzin' with Wendy by Jazzin' Around, a Washington bred. That race in 96, she was a 2-year-old. And there she is after her 99 victory. Frank Lucarelli took her to California. Look at that. June 27th, 1996, 1997, 1998, come on. How many horses run 4 years in a row? How many horses run at
day?
the same track 4 years in a row? How many horses get in the same date 4 years in a row? And she won all those years. Washington bred, when she ended her career, nearly $400,000 in earnings. She won 5 races in Southern Cal, 5 in Northern Cal, 8 at Emerald Downs. She won on the same day 4 years in a row. That record, how you going to?
Who was her owner?
Well, the first owner was Victor the Predictor,
That's
Susan
right.
K. Stables, and then she was claimed. Frank Lucarelli had her later in her career. So, anyway, that's one of the great racing oddities.
Or
So,
Akifumi Kato.
yeah. Well, when's the last time Kato's been here?
2002, I believe.
You didn't tell us who his siblings were and all that, and his mother and father.
No, I didn't have enough room.
Okay.
Quick stat.
Anyway,
It's a good
yeah.
one.
Okay.
Wow.
Phil, 48 years in a row, Jockey won a race.
You couldn't pronounce the guy's name. Yeah,
guy's-
they're saying you lost early.
Akifumi Kato.
That's not bad. You were close.
I'm
Very
rolling.
close.
Absolutely.
And his, okay. What are we tossing to right now? We're tossing to. Oh, that's right. August
Road
11th
Mile.
is Championship Sunday.
Yes, it
and
is.
We are looking at the Long Acres Mile. Let's take a look at one of the top local contenders. Sip and Fire had one of the top 3-year-old seasons in track history in 2018 and is the leader among Emerald Downs 4-year-olds who may contend for Long Acres Mile honors. Trained by Steve Bullock, Sip and Fire rattled off 4 consecutive stakes wins last year at 4 different distances and was named Washington Horse of the Year.
Weekend Wizard off the turn in front, but on the outside, Sippin' Fire's coming after him in the final furlong. It's a match race for home, and Sippin' Fire on the outside has tackled the leader. Weekend Wizard battles back 50 yards away. Sippin' Fire wins it by a hard-fought half.
He's been out-sprinted this season in 2 starts to date, but Bullock's main goal since January has been the Long Acres Mile.
I looked like I run a horse this second start that was a little short. You know, I could have had a little more training into him, and like I say, I'm trying to keep him sound and keep him healthy for the big race come along we're pointing for in August.
Sip and Fire is headed toward the June 30th Budweiser Stakes at 6.5 furlongs, and after that, more favorable route races could be on the schedule in July, August, and September.
You can kind of let him ease back and then make his one run sprinting, especially if it's speed bias. You kind of lay him closer and you kind of take him off his game plan, you know, and I feel that he's a better horse going 2 turns when he can settle in and make his big run.
Sip and Fire was purchased by How We Roll number 4 at the 2016 WTBOA sale and has spent 3 off seasons at owner David Israel's 30-acre Osceola farm in Enumclaw.
Yeah, he comes up after the meet and we give him a nice rest. And then when he starts dragging me around like a rag doll, I call Steve and I say that we need to get him in training.
Before Emerald Downs opens in February, Sip and Fire gets some miles of training in at Dunbar Ranch in Enumclaw. Dunbar has 20 stalls and a half-mile training track. Sip and Fire spends about a month there before coming into Emerald. There's history to Buck. No Muckleshoot Derby, Emerald Downs Derby, or Eagle Hardware and Garden Derby winner at Emerald Downs has gone on to win the Long Acres Mile the following season. You have to go back to 1966-67 and King's Favor to find a Long Acres Derby winner take the mile the following year. Sip and Fire's only loss in 4 two-turn races was the September 23rd Getaway Stakes in 2018. He tied the Emerald Downs record of 4 stakes victories by a 3-year-old and seeks to make an impact in the older horse division.
We've started out a little slower this year, but I think our eye is on the big prize, the mile, and we just want him to peak then and not sooner. So we're on track.
There's a picture from Emerald Downs history. How about the 2004 Budweiser? Demon Warlock over Poker Brad. You can check the odds over there. The 3-horse was 13-1. And Tim Floyd was part owner of Demon Warlock, and he is standing in this state. Of course, the sire of A Little Less Talk. Stakes winner here at Emerald Downs. She won the Kent. But Demon Warlock was a tenacious horse, and you know Poker Brad was very good as well.
Yes, he was.
He won the Mount Rainier a couple of times. And Demon Warlock went on to finish second in the Long Acres Mile that year to A Dream Is Born. And, okay, so we've got a lot of promotions coming up. We talked about the 3rd of July, which dominates everything. But the following week, we're going to be racing, of course, on July 5th, that Friday night. First race at 6:30. And we're going to have a nice little get-together out by the Winter Circle.
Yes, we'll have Brewers Night with the beer being a Red Hook. So come on out. We start the price off, what, Phil, $250?
Yeah, and then they spin the wheel.
We spin the wheel.
Race. Yeah.
And then we'll have the $1,000 horseshoe toss between the races. Live music between the races also. We'll have live music also this coming Saturday. The band this Saturday is the Hipsters.
Okay.
And a week from Saturday, we'll have more live music on the 5th floor, so that'll be a fun time.
We had a pretty good crowd up there last Saturday, didn't we?
It was, yeah.
Over 300.
And then next weekend we have one of your favorite events, Gary.
Yes.
Ladies' Night.
Wine and a
Ladies'
Chocolate
Night.
Festival.
You can get tickets for that now, actually.
Saturday, July 6th, Ladies' Night, first race 5 p.m. and Wine and Chocolate Festival as well. And go to our website for more info on that.
Guys are welcome for
Yep.
the, and
I like that touch. Men are welcome too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
boy.
the King will be out there on Saturday.
There's Gary.
How much did your nieces charge you to have you in that picture with them?
Gary,
Small
what's with the
amounts.
tattoos?
It's Ladies' Night. You gotta look hip
Gotta look at.
when you're out here that
As Harvey
Saturday night.
Keitel said in Taxi Driver to Robert De Niro, funny, you don't look hip.
Also, the T-Rexes might make an appearance on the racetrack that Saturday. First race, 5 o'clock.
T-Rexes, they're kind of
Yes.
quite the unique show.
Phil, we had a lot of people watch them last year on
Yeah, that
YouTube.
went viral. We'll show that again on next week's show. Yeah.
And then Sunday, it's the big day of dog racing here with the Wiener Dogs and the Wannabes.
The dogs that started it all.
Yep.
The Wiener Dogs.
They'll start out at Jim Clark Memorial.
Starting box,
Starting
yes.
box,
and
yes.
people say, what's a wannabe? A wannabe is any other small dog that's not
That can
a
fit
dog
in the
show.
box.
That
They
can
gotta
fit in the box. And that's Anderson
Pooper.
Hooper.
He is a legend in these parts.
And he is a she.
Oh, okay. He's a she. Look at
It's a she.
Yeah.
She's very popular
who's the
around
wiener
here.
dog that wins every year? There's one that I can't remember his name, but
There's one that's been retired.
okay.
Yes. The dog that
Yes.
won last year, they said they three-peated, and that was enough.
So that's on the 7th.
Yes,
July 7th.
2 o'clock
7th.
first race.
Yep.
Breakfast at the Wire starts on July 6th, Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. It's right down here near the Winter Circle. You can't miss it. It's free to attend. 8 to 10 a.m. every Saturday in July and August. Breakfast at the Wire hosted by Dean Mazuka. And Rad Rose provides the coffee. And it's a great show. Dean recognizes the horses on the track. He's really good at that. Has plenty of guests over the 2-hour time. And
$7.
several
Gets your breakfast.
several breakfast options for $7. So
I've heard John Parker sometimes will.
If
Yeah.
John's here, you're probably not paying, right?
That's right. He comes and picks up the tab. He's done that more than once, that's for sure. So Breakfast at the Wire starts on the morning of July 6th, that Saturday.
And a plug for your radio show.
Yeah, the Win Place Show.
Yeah.
We're on KJR 950 AM in Seattle every Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 9 AM. And Robert Geller, Don Loophole will be talking a little bit Queen's Plate. John White will join us on Sunday. And he loves following Emerald Downs racing. Former honorary steward for the mile.
Now, I know Woodbine's got like 4 greatest stakes that Saturday, in addition to Queen's Plate. So as Phil says, a lot of these racetracks will put all their big races on one big day and have a big party. So that should be a fun day to come out and watch them on a simulcast.
And if you sleep late like Gary, you can hear the radio show on the on demand.
Sure.
On their website, right?
Yeah.
Which I've done that
Which I've
this
done that
past weekend.
myself, yeah.
Very good. And, okay, let's take a look at action from this weekend. We have a Fab Friday coming up. June 28th, of course, is our next Friday. And I'm going to go to the 5th race. It's a sprint for older horses, 6 furlongs. Claiming price is $62.50. So, you got one of these sharp speed horses in there. What do you do with them? Do you just say, well, he's stepping up in class again, he can't keep doing it? I'm going to say he can keep doing it. I'm talking about Ridgefield Rocket, number 6, who ran on June 7th. His first start of 2019 was on June 7th. He came back in 8 days and parked by 7 lengths, stepping up in class. Patty Leiden trainee, Ryan Barber back aboard. That horse ran so well on June 15th. He's coming back now in 2 weeks. Boy, if he repeats that, he's gone again up front, even with Doss Bear in the field, who's a two-time winner at the meet. So I'm going to go Ridgefield Rocket in the 5th on Friday. Phil, what do you have?
I'm going to go to Saturday. Okay. And which race is this that I'm looking at?
We've got some good races on Saturday.
I'm going to race 7.
Okay.
I'm going to take Little Dancer.
Little Dancer,
Little Dancer, 5-year-old mare, Doris Harwood, and Ron Schmidt, the owner, Ron Schmid. They have been trying to get this horse in for weeks.
To go a whole lap.
Yes. So they finally got the horse in, and she's done very well in the past.
Oh, yeah. She was our Oaks winner a couple of years ago. She likes two-turn racing. Jerry Carey's in there. Diamonds Are. Fly Far Away, Blazing Beauty. Tough race. Gary?
Saturday. Race 4. Remember, that's Northwest Island Fest that night. Excuse me. 2 Story Zori will be out playing between the races. A good reggae band. I go to race 4, looking for the Dimple. Up in class, big romping win last time out. Maybe can repeat. And the new owner is John Parker, so he's looking for another W.
Okay, yeah, claimed that horse out of a maiden victory. Looking for the Dimple. All right. Well, we've got lots of promotions, lots of racing at Emerald Downs. Fab Friday, 6:30, and remember 5 p.m. on Saturday. But we're open all day for simulcasting. Lots of great races around the country.
And warmer weather ahead.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching Emerald Downs Weekly. We're heading inside.
Yeah.
Hopefully a fast track.
Yes.